All right, welcome back. Time for some last chance Q, although this time we're going to tap into JB's basketball analysis. This morning I was perusing Twitter and saw JB snapping over JJ Redick's appearance on First Take this morning. Let's watch JJ Redick talk about Ja Morant.
Again, we can go into the backstory of the incident with the teenager. Ja's claiming self-defense, that the teenager threw the ball in his face. We can go into the incident at the mall when he yelled at his security guard. We can go into the incident with the Indiana Pacers traveling party. As far as we know, all of these things have been investigated and no law has been broken. I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying there should be no punishment. There should be consequences. You are the face of the league. You are representing the NBA. You are a role model to young kids. All of that. I don't think half a season is the right answer. And the last point I want to make is you bring this up, the guns on social media. We talk about consequences. Look, in our country right now, gun culture is pervasive. It's pervasive. We've got mass shooting after mass shooting, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. So I get why we're so sensitive to this right now. But there's no consequence for Greg Abbott telling his constituents that they should go buy more guns, and then we have mass shooting after mass shooting in Texas. There's no consequence for an elected Tennessee official to send out a Christmas card holding AR-15s with his young family, and then there's a shooting in his very district. There's no consequences to that. So why are we trying to lay down the hammer on a 23-year-old who didn't break a law? Explain that to me.
JB, I'm going to give you first crack at explaining that because you inspired this. JB, the floor is yours if you'd like to explain to JJ Redick.
You know what I'm tired of? People don't understand. We either coach it or you allow it in life. And everything he just explained was an excuse. He said, I'm not condoning it. You're lying. You are condoning it. So I don't understand it. He needs to have a punishment, but I don't believe half the season is it. I know it should be a full season. Like, this is what we keep seeing, Jason, and every single day on mainstream media. We keep seeing excuses for excuses as to why these kids continue to do what they do and why it's okay. And it just blows my mind, man, that the adult in the room can't figure it out and wonder why we have a problem, especially in this particular demographic, inner city black youth, let's just be honest, which I'm around every day. I don't believe JJ is around it at all. I don't believe any of those people at ESPN are around it at all. And this is a guy from Cookeville, Tennessee. And I think I have the right to discuss this being from Compton, California. There's a little bit different. And I'm frankly just starting to be a little pissed off about these cats that come out who think they've been around a few brothers and sisters in their life and think they can speak about black culture, black lives, how it affects kids in the hood because they played in a predominant black NBA. It blows my mind. I have the black friend quote, right? That's JJ Redick. I have the black friend. It don't matter. You're not from there. You don't know what it's like. You have no clue what these kids look at. These kids aren't looking at Greg Abbott, Jason. You and I know that. They're looking at Ja Morant on IG Live. They're looking at all these cats that are in rap videos with pistols and AKs and guns. They're not looking at the white backwood politician with an AK with their kids on a Christmas card. Let's just be honest. And I don't understand how Steven Jackson and all these cats keep coming out and talking about this is a racially motivated attack on Ja Morant. No, it's not. You should be more proactive, Steven Jackson, instead of reactive like we see all these tweets every day, Jason, about prayers, T's and P's, all the black kings and queens that have lost their lives. Why haven't I seen JJ Redick, Steven Jackson, Stephen A. Smith, and whoever else on a commercial tomorrow to create a commercial? How about let's make this commercial, Jason? Let's call it How Not to Be Like Ja instead of How to Be Like Mike. Let's make it not how not to be like Ja. Let's make that commercial. Why haven't I seen any proactive action by any of these cats who are claiming it's racially motivated? Monty Williams at Phoenix Suns have fired him because it's racially motivated now. Really? They just fired Nick Nurse and Budenholzer too after they just won championships. Is that racially motivated? I'm just tired of the race baiting thing, man. It's time to start talking up at it because I've never really went into it. It's starting to just irk me to the core now because the truth needs to be told. I don't see these cats in Compton. I'm there. I don't see any of these cats in Compton. I'm the one talking to black kids every day. I don't see them. But they want to go on these platforms and utter pure nonsense to get a like and a retweet. That's my rant, man.
JB, I got to say, that's some of your best work. It's a great setup for me to follow in behind you and just say to JJ Redick, hey, man, what people are concerned about as it relates to Ja Morant, and I know it's great that you played basketball at Duke with some black teammates. It's great you had a nice, long NBA career, a lot of black teammates. It's great that you socialize with some of the most elite and well-off and protected black people on the planet. That's awesome, JJ. Don't really want to ridicule you or belittle you, but you sound like an idiot. Because what Ja Morant is doing is putting himself in harm's way, and he's putting other people in harm's way. Him using and treating a gun as a toy, a prop, an accessory is putting Ja Morant in harm's way. When a police officer eventually pulls Ja Morant over in a car, because of all the videos, because of the way Ja Morant has portrayed himself, that policeman is going to be very suspicious of Ja Morant. Does he have a gun? Is he drunk or high? Does he plan on playing or flashing that gun the way I've seen him do in videos? And so if it doesn't get Ja Morant harmed, maybe it'll get that policeman harmed. Maybe it'll get a passenger in the car harmed. Maybe let's remove the police from the scenario. Let's suppose Ja Morant, being 23, goes to a club in Memphis or anywhere, and gets in a dispute, an argument, an altercation with someone who's really about that life. That person who's really about that life is gonna be, oh, this is Ja Morant. He carries a gun. Well, you know what? I happen to carry a gun. Ja Morant pretends to be about that life. I'm gonna pull out this gun and use it on Ja Morant because he could potentially use it against me. Ja Morant is a walking billboard advertisement of I want some type of gun violence drama to happen with me. He is sowing the seeds for that type of violence and misbehavior that, again, like JB just said, we know is commonplace in Memphis, in black communities, in urban areas. We know it's commonplace. And so we're watching a child play with fire. Watching a child put his hand on a hot stove over and over and over again. And we don't need JJ Redick for likes, clicks, retweets, social media clout, television ratings. We don't need JJ Redick on TV trying to build his profile and brand. I'm the #1 ally to all these idiots. We don't need that, JJ Redick, because there are people that are actually out here saying, hey, JJ, hey, Ja, this behavior may end up getting you, someone close to you, or someone you don't know hurt. And that's why people are calling for Ja Morant to be disciplined harshly to cut out this behavior. Greg Abbott telling people in Texas to arm themselves and use their Second Amendment rights. That does it. There is no clear-cut connection between that behavior and these mass shootings that you love to talk about. There's no clear-cut connection. There's actual political and real justification for Greg Abbott telling his citizens, arm yourself, use guns legally, protect yourself from this tyrannical government. The founders wanted you armed. They wanted the government to fear you. There is, what was the other reference he made? It wasn't Greg Abbott. There was a second reference he made that he was...
People using guns in their Christmas cards?
Yeah, the politicians using guns in their Christmas card. If you can show me a clear connection between those Christmas cards and violence in the hood, in the suburbs, anywhere, not something you pull out of your rear end and speculate about. Because this stuff that we see in the actual inner city, where JB is talking about in Compton, in Memphis, across the street from me, right here in Nashville, I can walk from my very expensive apartment building. I can walk without losing my breath, without any effort, to a place right across the street from me, where there's been at least three murders in the short time that I've lived here, and several shootings at this one particular nightclub. And there's one particular demographic involved in every one of those shootings. And those guys take their cues from people like Ja Morant. Whoever sent out the Christmas card, they don't know nothing about it. Their behavior is not connected to whoever sent out those Christmas cards. And so I get it. Everybody wants to be the most down white guy in the world and wants to be the most down white guy connected to NBA players. And I'm sure all the NBA players are celebrating you. Yeah, JJ Redick, he's a real one. He kept it real for Ja. No, man, if you really want to keep it, if you want some clout, I would love to go back and see, and maybe I don't know. I mean, we'll do the homework and find out. What did JJ Redick have to say about Kyrie Irving when he was getting beat up over a movie poster? You want to keep it real and show how down you are for the black man? Stand up for Kyrie Irving when he was catching heat over nothing, a movie poster about black people or Jewish people's history. This smells like a gimmick to me. Everybody wants to be the cool white boy, and this is your turn to be the cool white boy and get some points back from when you beat up on Stephen A. Smith and people get upset with you. Now you got you some cool points. You defended Ja Morant and everybody waving a gun. Good job, JJ Redick. Sellout.
I do not want to be the cool white boy. I can go on record saying that. I also want to, so to JB's point, it seems like his takeaway from that was like, hey, what are little kids watching and all that, and you're not in Compton? I'm like, I'm not from Compton, never been there, probably will never go there. You certainly would have to pay me a lot of money to go to Compton. But I do have a brain, and so I understand what the average person who's criticizing Ja Morant is saying. And I could break it down really easy in just a couple sentences. Good, responsible ownership is good. Bad, irresponsible gun ownership is bad. It's that simple. If you're sitting there as a politician, and particularly as a Republican, you know that you're supported by the NRA, which, by the way, there's never been a single member of the NRA who has been a mass shooter. So everybody acts like, oh, if you love guns, you're going to go out there and murder everyone. That is not true. So you're pandering to some degree, but also it's a message. Hey, don't come to this house. Everybody's armed, right? They're not saying, hey, turn on that rap song and I'm going to smoke some N-word. That's what they're not saying. That's what Ja's saying. And so what we're saying is what I have said for a very long time. Gun culture is actually a good thing. There's just different types. There's different levels. America has always had a gun culture from day one. It's the Second Amendment in the Constitution. It is a gun culture. We want it that way. The more guns, the better. Everybody talks about, we got 400 million guns in circulation. Good. I wish we had 2 billion. I wish we had more guns. I actually think if every person got a gun when they turned 18 years old or 21 or whatever state you're in and went and got training, we would all be safer. But the way Ja Morant's handling it is the rap and hip hop culture. He's never taken a class on concealed carry. He doesn't know that you don't hold a gun up with your finger on the trigger and that is dangerous. The likelihood of that being unloaded in a perfectly safe gun, nah, he's not handling it. It is so clear how to handle a gun. You can watch anybody who's ever taken a class on gun safety and know whether you'll know the difference between somebody who has and hasn't. Why? Because a person who has always points the gun down, no matter if it's loaded or not. You never have the barrel facing at anybody. You always have it pulled out. If they're ever going to let you touch it, they take the magazine out and they check the chamber to make sure nothing's in there, and then they keep it open no matter what. So that there's so many small things you do. You would never wave a gun around in front of a camera or anybody. If you've ever gone to Bass Pro, if you've ever gone to your local gun shop, you see how they handle it, and then they hand it to you open so that there's no way a bullet could come out of there. This is why people were upset with the guy on Rust, the actor, Alex Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because someone should have had the sense to go check that gun. Someone. Right? He got off and all of it, but somebody should have had the sense. Gun safety is so easy to identify. So people are angry, particularly people like me, who have taken their concealed carry classes, who do carry a gun virtually everywhere they go. I'm angry because you are out there displaying that you are very likely going to have a gun accident at some point. And you're making it harder on me, a good, responsible gun owner, to continue to operate within the Second Amendment and have our rights, because your stupidity is making other people freak out and think they need to take my gun.
JB, circle back. You got any additional thoughts?
Man, to be honest, the cool part about this, Jason, is that you only see it from one point of view from these guys that have these big platforms like Redick is now on. I haven't seen anyone on that network come out and call out, racism for the fact that JJ Redick has moved in his discussion to be the new head coach for the Toronto Raptors. Why haven't I seen this narrative be pushed? Nate McMillan should be getting more shot and opportunity than JJ Redick, who's never coached. But JJ Redick can come on and talk about something that he's never been around or done in his entire life. And everyone's going to think he's the guy that knows what he's talking about because he's on ESPN. This is my take to end this thing, Jason. I appreciate you having me on. Morant will have to come to L.A. And guess what? Guns aren't allowed in L.A. in the car. And he's going to now carry a gun, similar to what you were saying. And guess what? He's carrying a gun now because there's LA gangsters out here calling Ja out, if you haven't seen the videos. And they're now calling him out that you've been put on notice, Ja, because you're throwing up certain neighborhoods on TV during your games. And now LA gangsters, real gangsters that do this for a living, have now caught the attention of Ja Morant. And now guess what? Ja Morant, his security or detail or whatever, is going to have guns on them. And now you've created an entire new group of or set of rules here, like you were saying, and it's going to get worse, Jason. It's going to get worse now because you just said it. Perception's reality. They're going to think Ja has a gun on him, whether he does or not now. And it's unfortunate, but that is the stereotype that is out here. And unfortunate situation, 23-year-old, there's nothing worse than a waste of talent. And that's what we're seeing at all-time high with this kid.
JB, there's another point that you just led me to that you're the perfect guy to make or to discuss this with, is that JJ Redick wants to be an NBA head coach. And he wants black players, star black players, to think of him the same way they allegedly think of Steve Kerr, who plays woke and does all these correct talking points, Black Lives Matter and all that other stuff. This is a gimmick that JJ Redick is using, trying to secure the bag, trying to secure a head coaching job in Toronto. Let me go out here and say things I don't really believe and know are nonsensical, but this is what I have to do to pander to these black athletes so that when I go in there as the coach, they know I'm on their side. I'll back them up on their stupidity. This is a gimmick to put himself in a better position to get a head coaching job in the NBA.
Hey, Jason, I'm going to be honest. I've talked to a bunch of athletes, pro athletes right now, about 3 in the NBA. I'll keep their names out of it, but they all agree with me. None of them want that woke speech given to them in the locker room. They want raw and uncut, real talk banter that is genuine from the heart, whether it's a disagreement or agreement to those players. They want the real and uncut version of that particular coach or human being or leader in this instance. They don't want the woke talk. I'm telling you, this is from 3 current NBA players right now. Not one of my black friends, homeboys, associates, partners, whatever we want to get into, we want to be hood or not, agree with JJ Redick. And I'm leaning on the majority on my Twitter and Instagram comments right now. They're agreeing with me as well. So why is the black side of things agreeing to me, and all my friends are like, man, you hit that one on the head. Nobody's looking at these white backwood politicians and their guns on Christmas cards. They're looking at rappers, actors, entertainers, Kanye West wearing a space suit and red boots, and now you wonder why these kids are wearing it on Instagram. They're not looking at why don't I see them why aren't they in a suit, Jason, with AKs on a Christmas suit, a Christmas card? I see them with red space boots and looking like they're straight out of a movie like Kanye. I don't see anyone wearing politician suits and ties. Like it blows my mind, man. And I'm just glad that real people understand it. They see it, and they don't. These kids really don't want to hear the BS. They want real talk and real banter. And these coaches are doing this stuff that you just mentioned. They're actually losing integrity. They're actually losing everything that we've been taught that's right. They're losing it just to try to adhere to a group of people in the locker room that when those group of people really are just there and it's going in one ear and out the other because all they see is green money. They don't care what you say. But the ones that say the real, Jason, they not only get paid, they also win games. And I hate to see Popovich go down the same route. Kerr. And this is going to be another one. And it's unfortunate, man. It really is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Malone is maybe the guy that's on top of it that maybe is not that way. And Denver may be on the way to the championship. I don't know. But it's a very interesting take by you to say that.
Thank you, JB. Great job. Appreciate it. I know some of our audience has missed JB. They've been at, where's JB? Where's JB? Well, there's JB. What a great take.